Hey guys, Stable here. Today I want to go over these Halloween commanders for you. If you haven't gotten the memo, if you didn't watch the patch notes video from yesterday, next update cycle, we're going to get a chance to get, for sure, the Halloween commanders, for sure the Azure Lane commanders. I'm inclined to say the Warhammer commanders, but I think you can still buy those, so maybe they're not part of this. Where is it? Yeah, you can still get them here, so anyway, I've covered those more recently. I've covered the Azure Lane more recently. I don't think I ever actually covered the Halloween commanders as a bundle just because very, very few people had them. I mean, a lot of people got Hyde. Hyde was a reward, he was a campaign reward, but Einstein and Hellsinger, you had to buy for about 5,000 doubloons. I actually had to buy them. They weren't given the community contributors the commanders back then, but I thought they looked pretty intriguing. So I want to go over them with you and give you kind of my thoughts on them so that come next update, if there's something that you're interested in, you'll be making an informed decision. Starting off, Einstein, American cruiser commander. Now I got him set up for my heavy cruiser branch. I'll tell you why here. Norm Scott, traditionally I was playing him mostly as the heavy cruiser commander, but then we started getting Atlanta, Boise, some of these other light cruisers, and I've started to notice he's got a better build for the light cruisers, and then of course the actual branch came out. So he's full-time light cruiser now. Einstein's full-time heavy cruiser. What is the deal here? Increase main battery traverse speed of your cruiser. And here we got, you can see if you get it maxed, I'm just 2 points shy of being maxed. It's a full degree per second. Contrast that to a maxed Ingenious, 1.8 degrees. So it's about, what, 60% of Ingenious, which is extremely strong when it comes to turret traverse. So that's a nice boost. This is for cruisers only, but if you stack this plus Ingenious, you can cut down. Let's just take a look at the Pensacola here. I'll just demonstrate briefly so you guys can understand what's going on here. We're going to have to actually go to the game. But I think it's like a 20% or a 20-second reduction. It's just absolutely insane. Alright, bear with me here. Let's go with, we'll put Dewey on there just for comparison's sake. Turret traverse, 45 seconds. Alright, now if we put Einstein on there with the double turret traverse build, what do we got? 26.9, so just shy of 20-second reduction, which is massive. I mean, that changes the Pensacola from not that particularly fun of a ship to play, in my opinion, to one of my favorite tier 5 cruisers all of a sudden. Very strong guns, but if you can't get them on target because they're always turning, that cuts down the DPM extraordinarily. So this is a very strong trait, and I've been experimenting with him as an inspiration on other cruiser lines, Japanese cruisers. Anytime you can outturn your turret traverse, you can consider putting him on there, especially if you got a build like an offensive quote-unquote commander that doesn't have Ingenious. You could throw that on there as kind of a mitigating factor. Anyway, here we got the double turret traverse. You can put range on there. He does have this thing, which is an interesting option. I haven't ruled this one out, but it increases the sonar and radar duration by 5%, and it gives you the twist and track-esque direction, you know, the radio frequency finder of the nearest ship. So that's interesting. Currently, I got speed on there, and you can also put HE chance. So it doesn't have the double HE chance like Norm Scott would, but it does have one HE chance, gives you some versatility. Gives you range. I don't particularly love range on the slow traveling American cruisers when it comes to their shells. I think Ingenious, again, you get the traverse, you get the incoming splash damage reduction, and you get the indicator telling you you're targeted. Very strong there. Here we got AP, of course, with the heavy cruisers, they're AP focused. Great perk there. You can also use this one. This isn't the strongest perk in my opinion, Sponge. And then sonar, not really worth it in my opinion, but here we got an accuracy boost. So this is a very potent build here. You got AP enhancements both in terms of accuracy, raw damage, penetration, and turret traverse, which is an important hidden component of the DPM of your ship. So extremely focused on damage output here. Here I got reload time, You can also have a damage con cycle. There's no extra uh, what you, consumable like you would have on, I think Norm Scott would have that, or some of the other ones. Usually these hybrid commanders, the legendaries are a little bit of a trade-off just because this section of perks is so strong. So Einstein, base trait A, in my opinion. I'm not gonna grade them, but thumbs up. Let's just say good base trait there. Good build here for the types of ships, and decent enough here. Cutting down the reload doesn't hurt. So very strong commander in my opinion. Uh, Second up, we got, where is he? Where the hell is he? Oh, Hellsinger here. Abe Hellsinger. He's on my short list to get to 14. Here we do have the twist and track. Now, essentially, what I'm doing with Hellsinger, I'm taking my Tanaka build. We're giving up the increased damage of the torps, which they already hit like a truck. Anyways, you don't really need the damage. But here we got Subsurface Venture. We got the double concealment boost, fragile threat, I guess it's called. Here I have torp reload, booster, or not booster, but reduction in the reload time. Or you can put this on there. Here's also a early warning indicator. We've been talking about this perk a little bit. Not horrible, not a bad option, but most commanders running Tanaka are going to have one of these torp perks, and then for the Japanese destroyers, usually run these type of perks over here. So I think it's the exact same build except for the slot 3. Now we have twist and track, which will alert you to the nearest ship, of course. Helpful for avoiding destroyers, but also blind firing attacks, torpedo attacks, where you see that indicator kind of telling you roughly where the ship is, and you're using your map and game awareness to kind of pinpoint the location of a hidden ship as well. That's an additional nice juicy piece of information. Sometimes you can just fire those torps blind and hit the shots there, but you can see here, these are the same. This is the same here. This is the same here. This one's not as strong. This is perhaps going to be stronger in clan wars or potentially ranked, or if you run divisions and you're a destroyer that's smoking up cruisers, or if you're, in like a Belfast, 2 Belfast division or something, you keep smoking each other up. Interesting options there. But as a solo player, I think this is minimal value. But again, we're just trading off 3%, 5% max probably torpedo damage, which is nice, but it's not the end of the world. But adding twist and track on any destroyer build is extremely valuable in my opinion. So again, not anything that out of the ordinary. We're just getting twist and track on our Japanese torpedo boats. This one was interesting to me. We have the torpedo damage enhancement that kind of makes up for the base trait being gone. Torpedo launch, reload, reduction, slightly less than this. This one's a little faster, and this one has the torpedo speed. Now this one cuts down the range by 20%. So if you're taking a 10-kilometer launch, goes down to 8. Kind of Udachi-esque in that, but here we're getting the speed. I think torpedo speed is extremely valuable, so I just stick with that one. But this is an option to consider. Again, very strong. Recommended, thumbs up on that guy. And the other one that's a little more common just because he was part of a campaign, Hyde. Now this one has some interesting options. Number one, this is a unique thing. What this basically does is it makes it easier to penetrate when the ship is mostly broadside, but it makes it harder to not ricochet when the enemy is mostly angled. So if he's very steeply angled, you're going to lose 4 degrees, the first 4 degrees of when he goes from steeply angled to angled, where the chance goes from guaranteed ricochet to possibility of ricochet. On the flip side, we're basically changing the computation and making the ship flatter than it appears on the screen. So until you get the possibility of ricochet, which again is the middle section of the ricochet possibility spectrum, we're guaranteed to not ricochet for 8 degrees. So you get more benefit here. It's basically treating the ship on your screen as more broadside than it actually is in reality. But then once it hits the steeply angled end of the spectrum, the computer is treating it as more angled than it actually is. So it's makes it easier to punish poor angling, makes it harder to punish good angling, is I guess the way to look at that trade-off. Interesting perk. I haven't used it a lot, just because I really like the number one, the AP shell damage enhancement and the traverse speed, but it is an option. I'm kind of waiting to get Von Essen, the Dmitry Dewey of the Russian line, buffed a little bit and use that in conjunction with this one. But here you have the ability to use a peer. This is the Sims, these three red ones, these two in the center, this one here, marksmanship, and then I believe this would be your Sims build, at least how I have them set up, your quote-unquote accuracy build. These German battleships, though, we don't really need to boost the range, and precision is not as important as dispersion, in my opinion, so I move Brawler here. We're tightening up the range or drawing the ship closer, just cutting down the reload, enhancing torpedo detectability. You can also use this one. I think this perk is underutilized, but there's good options there. There's good options here. If you want to use a secondary build, like if you want to use them as a Bismarck commander, you got the Porcupine. This is probably, until you form an opinion on Alidad, if you like the perk or not, this is probably what you would end up going with in most cases. Here, if you're getting burned down a lot, you can always put this on there. Reduces the amount of fires, caps it at the maximum of 3, reduces the fire chance significantly, cycles the damage con quicker. This is another perk that I think most players overlook, especially the ones that are going online, complaining about burning to death by HE spam. Put this on there and then get back to us. But if that's not an issue, I think dispersion reduction is very valuable here. Of course, anytime you can get extra heals, 1 repair charge, 2 repair charges, plus enhancing those heals, very solid. I mean, this isn't a bad perk anyways, but come on, extra heals. Base trait, by the way, increase your ship's hit points. This can go on anything. So not as valuable as Sims on a destroyer, because Sims is a base, I think it's about 300 max, give or take. HP per level, so 2,100. Here, max, we're going to be looking at about, I don't know, 6% boost. So if your destroyer's only got 10%, 10,000 HP to take on the low end example, you're only getting what, I don't know, 400 extra health. So Sims is better for destroyers. Hyde's generally better for battleships. There is a break-even point where Sims is better. I can't remember exactly what it is. I had it written down previously. But higher level battleships for sure, Hyde. I haven't used them on any cruiser builds, but that's something you could consider as well. But valuable base trait. Pretty good build. I think it kind of, it allows you the most options for how you want to run your German battleships. And there's so much variety in the German battleships that having 3 battleship commanders really isn't that bad of an idea. Legendary perks, you can see I haven't selected them. I don't like adding to the dispersion of the main battery, so that just kind of rules this out, even though the rudder shift time and the traverse is nice, and you can say, you're shooting close range anyways, go ahead and put this on there. I don't like to do it. I don't like German battleships because they can't hit anything anyways. I'm not going to make it worse, so I'm not going to do that. And then here, I'm not taking away a repair charge yet. I might put this on there once I get this max, because really 4 heals is pretty dang good. How often do you actually get all 5 off? Sometimes you do, and it's nice when you get 5, but sometimes you just get 4 off, and you wouldn't really miss it. But getting the extra torp detectability could help. So that one I'm considering once I get this guy up to 16. This one, again, it doesn't seem that bad, but I don't add to the dispersion penalty. And Wargaming has said that they are at least looking at some of these legendary perks. So maybe those will become more attractive anyways. But hopefully, bottom line with these 3, Einstein, Hellsinger, where is he? Hyde. You can see I got points into all of them. Hellsinger's going to be 14. Hyde's going to be 16. Einstein 16, number 1. I like the option for the Traverse as an inspiration. Number 2, he's my first legendary commander, so gave him a little bit of extra love. But very strong commanders across the board. You're not going to regret getting any of those if you do come across them next update. So I thought I'd give you guys that rundown because you guys are always badgering me about when are they going to be available? Can I ever get these guys? Are they any good? The answer is yes, you can get them. Yes, they're good. Yes, you should get them. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. A lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. I do love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.